The last lap is almost numb. It's the last 5 laps when you're leading a race that you really go, oh gosh, come on. You don't want a tire to go down. You don't want something to break.
It's definitely not for the weak of mind. That's what I told my dad after I was done with the first race. I looked at him like, that stuff is not for the weak of mind. You gotta be a mentally strong person to do that.
I've been exposed to motorsports since I can remember, probably 3 years old. When you're a father and you put your son in a race car, you know, racing is dangerous. But it's just what my family has done my entire life. To put Cole in a car seemed natural. You know, to put my oldest son in a car seemed natural. Both boys showed the passion to want to do it and had the skill sets to do it. So the first time, sure, nervous, but Cole quickly proved himself to be skilled and competent.
Honestly, it's all you. If you're not out there and focused 100%, that's the mindset you have to have. Or you're gonna get spun out, you're gonna do something stupid. You just have to know going in that you're gonna do the best you can and whatever happens, happens. So the series we ran this year was called the Pacific Challenge Series. It was run by Jeff Merrell. They did a great job of putting on all the races. We ran Stockton, Ukiah, Roseville, and Madera, and we had a lot of great drivers enter. Basically, they made sure that everything was about the fans. It was really cool how much they cared about the people watching and whatnot.
The season started off really well for Cole. He wasn't going to race a full season this year. We were going to test 2 or 3, up to 4 more times, and then he was going to have his first race.
On my first test day, I was running times that my dad was running and fast guys were running, so the team kind of all just got together and decided that I'd just go right into the first race.
His skills were far beyond any other first-time driver that any of the veterans that were there that day had ever seen. So he proved himself immediately. His times were top 10 out of the top 60 race car drivers in Northern California. 3 weeks later, he started round 1. That was at home here in Roseville. You know, my car was awesome. I think we set fast time that day in qualifying. During the race, Cole's car shut off coming off of turn 4. I happened to be right behind him, so I stick my front bumper on his rear bumper and just shoved him all the way down the front straightaway just to get him out of the way, and then I kept racing. When I shoved him down the front straightaway, it stressed my rear end and my car broke about 6 laps later. So I DNF'd that first race.
The first race was definitely an emotional race because a lot of people know what happened with my brother and whatnot, so it was emotional. It was emotional for my mom. Obviously, my whole team wanted me to do good. And that was the first race at Roseville. Also, a really emotional race was going to Stockton, which is where he passed away. That was pretty intense, you know, coming to the green flag. It was like, all right, let's do it, you know. We were sitting good in the points for a long time. About halfway through the season, we were leading it. My dad was in second. The last round of the season was in Ukiah, and Jeremy Doss is a really good competitor, and me and him ran 1-2 the whole race, and my dad pretty much had the championship locked up. He had to finish in front of Mike Beeler, but it was actually a battle, but I beat him and Beeler, who finished 1 and 2, and me and Doss were battling for the first and second of that race.
The way the race shook out that night, Cole ended up having his best finish of the year. He finished second behind Jeremy Doss, who's a real standout young man, great competitor. We enjoy racing him. So it was the 2 young guys battling for the win, and then myself and Mike Beeler battling for third that night. At one point I was up into second, went for the pass to win the race, almost flew off the track. Sparks were flying, so I settled back in and just kind of rode it out and followed Mike to the finish, which means I lost 2 points to him, which means I won the championship by 4 points. There's a lot more crowd appeal when you're a driver. The crowd comes down for meet and greet. It was a lot of fun being able to sign autographs side by side with your boy. You know, his race car, my race car. The crowd comes down, we're meeting and greeting and signing autographs. How much fun is that? You know, it was awesome.
Before the races, when you're signing autographs, you're talking to the fans, and you go out there and do well, like, you really feel good about yourself. And also, it's so much of a team sport that you also feel good that you did well for the people behind you.
In stock car racing, it's such a team sport, so you have to put together the right team to have the results. And this year I really put a lot of effort into putting together the right crew chief, the right car chief, and the rest of the fellas. What really made the difference is three things. One, my buddy Eric Schmidt, who has been my mentor in stock car racing. He's been doing it since he was, probably 12 years old.
Eric was my crew chief all year long, and he's probably one of the best drivers in California over the last 10 years for what we do. So that was awesome to have him give me advice.
My crew chief, Ty Joyner, and my car chief, RJ. Those three made a huge contribution of time and effort to the season for both myself and for Cole. It takes a great crew with experience, knowledge, passion, a commitment to their driver. And it takes great equipment, it takes a driver with a cool head, talent, and focus. If you don't have that, the chances of you winning are slim and none. The outcome was awesome. Cole, Rookie of the Year, third in championship points, and myself winning the title.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. Ty and RJ are the guys that work on my car during the week and prepare the car for the race. They're the ones that are behind the scenes making sure the car runs good. It's really just my job to make sure I show up ready and focused, make the right choices on the track, and give them good feedback about what the car is doing.
So much that goes into it ahead of time. Everything's important. A lot of time in the shop, preparing the cars, getting the right parts, pieces, shocks, dynoed correctly. One little thing out of place and you'll have a bad night. So we started way before the season began, and then once the season gets underway, you kind of hit a rhythm.
Racing my dad is awesome. I would say he's the best competitor I race for sure, not just saying that because he's my dad, but he's a great racer, he's clean, he's fast. It's awesome to race him.
I race Cole the same way that I race anybody else. It's a little bit different because I do have a more concern for his outcome. I want him to have a positive outcome. So I might be a little bit more careful, but not a whole bunch. I'll race him hard.
He's always giving me tips on, lines on a track, because this is my rookie year. So knowing how to keep your momentum up, we both are really precise drivers and we don't make a lot of mistakes. Like everyone who watches me and my dad, I think you'd say that we're both pretty smooth drivers. Because I think that's because of the motocross background, you have to be smooth. In a car, if you crash, 95% of the time you're not going to get hurt, but if you crash on a dirt bike, you're going to probably get hurt.
You want to stay calm in a race car. You don't get excited in there. You stay focused and laser sharp with nice, easy inputs, and that's what produces good results. At this point in time, when the season ended, he'd shown well enough, done well enough to be offered an opportunity to drive one of the K&N cars for Mr. McAnally. That was a great experience for him.
I've driven 4 different cars now, and all of them are very, very different. When I raced the K&N car, I drove it 2 times before I went out and raced in it. It's different, but in my opinion, really, if you're a good driver, you can get in anything and adapt to it pretty fast, and that's how you have to be if you want to be at that level. And I think I definitely rose to the occasion in the K&N car and got in it, and I was running really fast times right away. Like at the end of the second day, I know I ran a time as fast as the pole the year before in that race. So going into that race in Roseville, the K&N race with Bill McAnally, I had a lot of confidence. I thought I was going to do really good. At the end of the day, my results weren't what they should have been, but being a part of that whole crew, the Napa crew, it was a great experience. The race was going really well. I was in the top 10, and I actually passed the guy that won the race right before I spun out. So I was trying to make a 2-for-1s pass, 2-for-1 special, because I just wanted to get to the front fast, because I knew at the end of those races, I couldn't be battling, in the back because your tires get old. You got to be up front if you want to be a part of the win. And that's what I was trying to do. And maybe it's because I'm a rookie, maybe it was just a bad scenario, but I ended up spinning out. I think I showed what I had. I showed that I could make passes, get up there to the front. Obviously, if I'm passing those guys that are up there, I definitely showed what I could do. If you want to succeed and go further, you got to get better and better. And You really have to listen to a lot of people that are veterans and whatnot, like my dad, Eric Holmes, and he's taught me a lot with doing the K&N series. You really just have to feed off of other people's experience to gain your own.
You know, when you're doing it with someone that you love and you enjoy being around, especially when it's your son, and he's excited about it, well, it makes you want to continue.
I think I would say I do like NASCAR better than motocross. I mean, I will never stop racing motocross, but NASCAR is definitely something I would love to pursue. There's just more of a meaning behind it to me, but not to say I'll ever stop doing either.
My dad was passionate about hot rods and race cars. He was a Steve McQueen fan, which I became a Steve McQueen fan. You know, all these years later, I remember something that Steve McQueen said. He says, you know, life is racing, everything else is just waiting. And when you've been racing as long as I have, and then you're as passionate about it as I am and as Cole is, there's a lot of truth to that. It's just the decisions that you make along the way.
Yeah, I'm really happy to follow in my dad's footsteps. He gave me the opportunity to race with him, and I wouldn't rather do anything than be by his side and do what we love.
Life is a competition. Racing is competition. Racing prepares you for life. Life prepares you for racing. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're spending time with the ones you love and having fun.